Hello and welcome to the first episode of Politics Today for the year 2014. I'm Sheung Okin Baloye. The year 2013 came with its own challenges, but we must not shy away from the fact that there are a few things we must be happy about. As we try to look back on what happened in the year 2013 and looking forward to the year 2014, we must pause and take a moment to analyze the mistakes and the achievements of the year. Today, the door of the presidency is open to us, and I have with me on the program the special advisor to President Goodluck Jonathan on Media and Publicity, Dr. Reuben Abati. He will be joining me from our Abuja studio. But again, as Nigerians, there are a lot of things that have been said during the year 2013, and all of those things achieved, where President Goodluck Jonathan and other presidents in Nigeria often give New Year speeches. At times, they give New Year messages. And these messages are laden with hopes, promises, and review of their performances of the year before and the year they're looking forward to. On the program tonight, we're looking at the year 2013. What did President Goodluck Jonathan say on his New Year message for 2013 and how he is fared based on those promises? And then we'll be looking at year 2014. What did he exactly say on the first day of the year, and what will happen in the course of the year, considering the fact that so many activities are set to happen in the year 2014. All of those activities will include elections and the preparations for 2015. But a lot of people are already assessing President Goodluck Jonathan based on the months that he has spent since he took over as president of Nigeria. All of these are going to be our focus on the program tonight. Well, you can participate on the program, send your comments in on what your thoughts are, wherever you might be watching us on the program tonight. You can send your thoughts through our Twitter handle, is at Sheung Okin, or you can send an email via our email. It's politicstoday@channelstv.com. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll be talking with Dr. Reuben Abati. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. This is the first episode of Politics Today on Channels Television. I'm Sheung Okin Baloye. As I told you earlier before that break, Dr. Reuben Abati is standing by in our Abuja studio, and we shall be looking at President Goodluck Jonathan's performance for the year 2013 based on his New Year message to the nation in 2013. So many things were said, and now that we have the door of the presidency open to us, good evening and Happy New Year to you, Dr. Abati. But let me start by asking you, one of the major high points of President Goodluck Jonathan's New Year message for the year 2013, because now we're looking at how he fared and his administration in the year 2013, was that of flood control and infrastructure. Because he said at that time, remember 2012, before the year 2013, we had a few states flooded. But based on what he said in 2013, that his administration will give priority attention in the coming year to flood and erosion control, the rehabilitation and expansion of existing federal roads. How will the presidency say it fared, and how will it grade itself this time around, looking back?
Well, you recall that at the beginning of 2013, President Jonathan made it clear that in many of the areas in which the administration had achieved a lot, that in 2013 a lot more will be done, particularly, as you have pointed out, in the area of infrastructure. And that is precisely what happened during that year. If you look at many of the sectors, you will find that indeed 2013 was a very productive year for this administration. Take, for example, the transport sector. As we speak now, over 90% of the entire existing narrow gauge lines throughout the country are at various stages of completion. And much of that was done in 2013. The main western line, Lagos to Kano, which is about 1,124 kilometers, was completed during the course of that year. And also the government succeeded in constructing standard gauge lines, and many of them are also at various stages of completion, including Abuja to Kaduna, Lagos to Ibadan to Ilorin. You know, all of this is going on, and the rehabilitation of the standard gauge line from Itape to Ajaokuta to Warri, which is about 274 kilometers. Now, as a result of all of this being done with regard to the railway sector, you now find a situation in Nigeria whereby rail transport has been effectively revived, and many companies are benefiting from this. Cement is being carried, you know, through rail. You know, other companies are also doing freight haulage through the rail line, reducing the pressure, you know, on the roads. And this is one of the major promises of President Jonathan when he assumed office. And we have a situation today whereby, you know, rail transportation is alive and well. Even intercity services are already, you know, occurring, which was something that was not happening at this rate in the past. So a lot was done in that regard in the year 2013. Now, if you go to the aviation sector, President Jonathan had promised, you pointed out about infrastructure. In the year that just ended, quite a number of rehabilitated and upgraded airports were commissioned. And perhaps the big example in this regard has to be the Akano Ibiam International Airport, which has now, you know, been opened up for international flights. And then you also have the hard terminals in Kano and Kaduna. You have the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport Terminal. You have the Benin Airport Terminal. You have the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. You have the GAT General Aviation Terminal at Murtala Mohammed Airport, Lagos. And if you travel around all of these places, you see that all these, you know, airports have been truly transformed for them to be more user-friendly, for them to be more efficient, and many Nigerians have already attested to this, that indeed a lot has happened in that regard. Even the River Niger, which the president promised, the dredging of the lower River Niger has also started, you know, to open up that channel. In terms of housing, the number of, you know, houses that were constructed and made available to the ordinary man also increased in the year 2013. If you look at the power sector, which is something that, you know, many Nigerians will be interested in the year 2013, the Jonathan administration succeeded in completing the privatization of Gencos and Discos, the generating companies and the distribution companies, total of them about 15. And that privatization process has been adjured by international investors as a process that was transparent, that was efficient, and that was open. And that commendation, I think, is something that ought to be underlined. In addition to that, 10 NIPPs, power plants, power projects, are also at various stages of completion. And around November, President Jonathan commissioned 2 of these power stations, Geregutu and Omotosho Power Plant. And the expectation is that before the first quarter of this year, you know, a total of 10 power plants will be commissioned. All of these adding to increased efficiency within the electricity sector. And with the private sector investors who have taken over and who have also shown interest in the power plants, the privatization process of which is already also being kickstarted, you can expect that in 2014, you know, there will also be far more improvement and far more efficiency within the power sector. In 2013,
let me come in here
on
Dr. Abati.
Power projects.
Sorry to cut you here, but let me quickly ask this before you continue. It's interesting that you touched on the issue of transportation. Dr. Abati, if I may come in here, just before we move too fast so that we can take it one after the other. It's interesting that you touched on the issue of transportation, and a lot of Nigerians will agree that some of our roads are not the best considering the states they are in at the moment. Rail transportation should be an alternative, an option that most Nigerians should embrace. But at the moment, for over 17 years or thereabout, there was a hiatus of that particular sector. But thank God that is coming back. Some questions on the minds of Nigerians is that, is it coming back for good? The way and manner the Jonathan administration is going about it, considering the fact that there is a Canadian organization, a private organization that wants to, and also a company in Nigeria that wants to come in to invest in the rail transport, but the federal government has not given a helping hand to these private. They've not opened up. Would you like to clear air on this?
Well, I didn't quite get that last part of your comment, but you were saying something about a Canadian company trying to come to the country.
My question is that we've heard and we saw proposals of a Canadian firm that offered to build a fast rail service system in our rail transport sector, and also a local organization in Nigeria that is willing to invest. But we've not heard anything from the federal government as regards this. And again, the fact that the government is looking into locomotive system alternative in the road transport, where in other parts of the world, they've moved past all of that.
Okay, I get your point, but the thing to note is that, Nigeria has been adjudged even by international bodies as the number one preferred destination for investment in Africa. And Nigeria, in that regard, is even rated number 4 in the world. Twice now, UNCTAD, a United Nations body, has said that Nigeria is the preferred destination for investment. And that is the case because we have in place, under this administration, an investor-friendly policy. In fact, in the last 10 years, there hasn't been a properly articulated trade and investment policy in this country. But this administration has been able to come up with that policy and also a number of incentives to encourage investment. So if there is a company that is saying, well, it's not succeeded yet, the truth of the matter is that, look, this is the favorite destination for investors. And I've just told you about how the investment in the power sector was adjudged by international observers to be very transparent and to have been conducted in line with best practices. So I can assure you that, look, this administration welcomes investors, and the volume of investment in Nigeria in 2013 alone went up, and remains very high. You mentioned a Canadian firm trying to get into the transport sector. I mean, Canada has very robust, very good trade relations with Nigeria. And if I may just point out one example, the Manitoba Hydro that is involved in the power sector is a Canadian company. So, this administration welcomes all categories of investors, and there is really no case of discrimination or favoritism. I'm sure that if the company is qualified, they are welcome. So I don't think there is any problem in terms of people bringing investment to Nigeria.
All right. It's interesting that a lot of Nigerians, it's going to be a very good news for them when they see that the rail transport system is coming back after 17 years. But what is quite intriguing is the fact that we are going in the way of locomotive, where other countries, other advanced world countries have embraced some other forms of rail transport system. Why are we going this way? Why are we doing the initiative that we're doing at the moment in terms of rail transportation?
Well, you note that at the time that President Jonathan assumed office, the railway system was almost practically comatose. I mean, a younger generation of Nigerians even did not grow up to see the rail lines working. Now, what the administration has been able to do is to rehabilitate that sector. And it is already working, and it is helping industry. And, apart from what exists now, there are plans to further upgrade. And government is already making efforts to ensure that, that sector is effectively modernized. In addition to that is what has been done with the roads. Roads are being rehabilitated, new ones are being constructed. And right there in Lagos, where you are, you see that in 2013, President Jonathan took a firm decision on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, which is a major road. And by the time that is completed, and you can see that work is going on there very actively, that will also be to the benefit of Nigerians. And also in 2013, the rehabilitation and the reconstruction of Bida Mokwa Road was flagged off, Enugu to Port Harcourt. Akure to Ijesha. So you see that, a lot is happening to make things easier, to make life more meaningful, and to focus on the welfare of the people.